We at Shastra, we in Shastra University have two TBIs. One is biotech. Another one is we focus on the technology side of IoT and 3D printing and AR/VR. So we have both put together. We have almost 100 incubators in our system, and we are also coming with the third incubator, third TBI, which is going to come shortly, which is on the food processing. This biotech ignition grant, actually big grant, which is a flagship program of BIRAC. I think this recognizes, invests innovative ideas in a biotech sector. So all of you know about this. And also, apart from the biotech industry, this also encourages proposals involving the integration of biotech with applied sciences, like, for example, engineering, artificial intelligence, IoT, sensors, big data analytics. All these things also be, if this technology involves biotech, I think that's also been considered for this. We have carefully chosen this time the incubators, those who wanted to apply for the big 20-second call. The second category of people is that those who have submitted proposals in the previous calls but could not qualify. This time they will do some improvements. They are working on the improvement. They wanted to apply for this. Third one is young innovators. So this is the three bucket in which we have selected the incubators today. Welcome all the incubators. Also, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Ambuj Chaturvedi, who is the Senior Vice President of IKP, and also he leads the MedTech vertical IKP. He's also a neurosurgeon by training. He's also an expert reviewer and a startup advisor. Welcome, Mr. Ambuj. So I hope all of you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes, that's right. Welcome, Dr. Sridhar Ramanathan. Sridhar Ramanathan is the Senior Vice President of IKP and also CEO for IKP Eden. He did his MSc PhD in analytical chemistry, and he had an entrepreneurial stint himself with HealthCube and other startups. Welcome, Mr. Sridhar. I also welcome Dr. Vishwanathan Dupatla. So he's a Vice President at IKP Knowledge Park, and also he leads the grant initiatives. Prior to this, he was a COO in MNR Foundation for Research and Innovation in Hyderabad. He is also a PhD in biochemistry from Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. And welcome, Mr. Vishwanathan. And welcome, Mr. Dr. Bhatia. So he's a founder and CEO for Landmark Biotech Private Limited. He's been working on developing thermostable proteins. He's also a PhD in biochemistry, molecular biology from IISc Bangalore. Welcome, Mr. Dr. Bhatia, Bhaira Bhatia. I think this session, I think should be very useful for the people. I think we have selected around 15-16 people from the whole lot of people. So it's a very serious one, and at the same time, I hope everybody will benefit out of this entire big grant. Welcome once again, all of you. Over to people. Thank you so much. Patabi, you can start the session, Patabi.
Yeah, thanks, sir. Thanks for the nice introduction. Apurva, you can very well start in your own way, right?
All distinguished speakers, I have another meeting scheduled at 11:15. So sorry, I have to leave. Excuse me, pardon. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the nice introduction, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Swami. Thank you for your kind words and the introduction of Sastra to be given to all of us. And without wasting much time, as we have limited participants and a closed session, I would request Dr. Vishu to start with the introduction of the BI. I would request Dr. Sridhar Ramanathan for the introduction of the IKP, followed by which we will have a brief intro about BIG and its program and execution. After that, we would like to go ahead with the panel discussion with Mr. Vaibhav Bhatia, Dr. Sridhar, Dr. Vishu, and Dr. Ambuj will be joining soon. Uh, there we can take all the questions. As per you mentioned that you have 3 categories, we can take one by one based on their request and queries and availability. Thank you. Request Dr. Sridhar to please go ahead.
Uh, Sure. Thank you. Thank you. And I was hoping, Apurva, maybe towards after this presentation and maybe after Visu is also is able to talk, we could briefly get everybody on video. So I'm
Yes.
giving adequate time for everybody to make themselves presentable so that we can also get an idea of the people we are talking to. Some of the disadvantages of virtual meetings is we can all, we've seen enough of comedy on Zoom meetings, etc., where people are in various type of dresses and situations. So it'll be good to actually see you and then kind of talk to you about it. Again, thank you for your time and opportunity that you provided us to IKP, and we are excited to be part of this conversation. So what I thought was, I don't know how many of you know IKP, and maybe give you a very quick overview of what IKP is, right? So I'm just going to share a presentation. I would go on that pretty fast. So has the screen refreshed on your end? I presume it
Yes.
has. Yeah,
Yes.
all right, great. Thank you. So today, in terms of what IKP is something that as somebody new to IKP, I have been discovering myself. And I'm 7 months into the organization. I'm just kind of like understanding the impact of what IKP has been doing. So this is a picture of our Science Park and Incubation Center that's there in Hyderabad. And what we do in terms of IKP itself started in the year of 2000. We are a not-for-profit science park and an incubator. So we are headquartered in Hyderabad, but we have presence in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and few centers in Karnataka. It's a very interesting journey. So I had kind of a perspective from the outside as to how this whole journey started. The whole journey started actually from a private sector where ICICI Bank said we have to do something to improve life science incubation and get more life sciences company in India. And our CEO and chairman, Dipanvita, was tasked with that at that point of time to go ahead and build something ground up. They partnered with the then Andhra Pradesh government to get 200-acre land, which was then later called as the Genome Valley. And this whole concept of a life science park cluster happened there in Hyderabad before anybody even thought of it. So we have a lot of experience in this, and some of the organizations, for example, BIG, did not exist at that point in time at all. So in some sense, there is a vision that we created as to what we want to do. How do we get smart companies together? And from that journey, we have created all of these on the right side that you see. Various aspects of IKP were created at that point in time. And of course, none of these is possible as an individual, especially as a private company. So we've had support from various organizations that we have highlighted here. And if you think about it, in the last 22, 23 years of IKP, our impact has been across the country. So organizations as far as Jammu have reached out to us and saying, we really want to be incubated. We really want to work with you. And as you can see, we go all the way to Dibrugarh in terms of our impact. One of the most I would think satisfying moments, especially somebody joining IKP, is one company that's based, I think, in Manipur. They're developing orchids. Visu, you can correct me whether it's Manipur or Meghalaya. Manipur. So they developed orchids, and they actually named an orchid that they have created after IKP. That is the impact, affection that we've been able to get because of the work that we've been doing. And this is just to give you an idea of what we have created. And For me, the most exhilarating thing that we have seen is, there's more than 1,000 startups, companies that have come out of our system. The investment multiplier is nearly 32 times, and it's probably going up from the last time the slide was prepared. And again, this is a very interesting narrative of what we have done is, so there is a meeting, and I will talk about it later, called IKMC. Before anything happened, we started creating a gathering of experts from the government, private sector, startups, all come together in Hyderabad once a year, and they discuss many aspects. So in our early IKMC, this is in 2010, one thought came from a serial entrepreneur par excellence. His name is Bala Manian. He says, government can support it, but they must figure out a way to be out of the way, stand out of the way. And in that time, the audience was Dr. Ban. As all of you know, Dr. Ban is legendary visionary. He's credited with creating BIRAC and whatever came out of BIRAC after that. He said, and he's quoted, right? In the next meeting, he said, look, Dr. Manian said this, and I said, how can I take this? And if there's one thing that I can do, I want to create something that can be a legacy for companies to build up an independent organization. And BIRAC was born. And so from that perspective, we take small pride in the fact that a game-changing ecosystem happened because of the IKP movement that we have created. And as you can see in this, over the last 22 years or 11 years, every aspect of various grand challenges, BIG, we are also the first of the seed funds. We created part of the lead fund. We also invest through, deep funds, technology transfer offices, PUSH, which allows people to work with, get entrepreneurs hands-on experience. And the ICO fund, which was created, for COVID, in response to COVID. So what we want to tell you guys, our audience, is that across the years, we have been partnering, we have been leading thought on how do we get incubation, how do we get entrepreneurs, how do we remove all the threads that hold entrepreneurs so that they can soar and create value for our community and country. Just to give you a flavor, I will not go into much detail here. The various IKP incubators are, we have a life science incubator. Visu, part of this call, leads that. We have another incubator called Catalyst, that is for small and medium enterprises. These are laboratories. We have a agri incubator called Sync. There is also A Labs, where we do a lot of analytical work that is there. There's a One Health incubator. As you are aware, COVID is a great example of a One Health moving across species, a pathogen infecting everybody. Opportunities like this, we are looking at that to say, how do we understand this better? And where I'm talking to you is the hardware incubator called IKP Eden. But we do much more than hardware. We also have a bio facility. So one of those unique facilities where you can develop an assay, you can actually put it into a box. We help you throughout. There's an electronics lab. So the whole area is possible. And then there are satellite incubation centers that we called, it's called the K-Tech Innovation Hub, that we manage for the government of Karnataka. And we didn't stop there. Part of the IKP innovation system is IKP Prime, which I would say look at, it's technology transfer, but what really helps a lot of companies is the advice that we provide on IP management. How do we do licensing? A lot of companies are actually working with us to develop their licensing strategy. That's something that we do. This is actually about 90% of team IKP, and I'm sharing this to and you will see a lot of thought leaders here on stage from the government and private sector. This is what we do. We get people, and this is IKMC. And what IKMC does is to bring all of these people together, right? And what we've been able to do is leverage this to create new opportunities. For example, Dr. Surinder Singh, who used to be DGCI, is currently the Chancellor of Vice Chancellor of JSS University. He met startups, which asked him questions on how do we get, how do we get help in regulatory, the Indian regulatory laws are changing. So with my colleague Priyankana, who was following it up with him, we are in the next month, we are launching a regulatory committee panel, which IKP is going to lead, but fully powered by regulators who are going to work with JSS to support new regulatory applications. That is something, that's the impact of what we do. So we will now offer that as a service to our startups or any startups in our incubation ecosystem, because we want to make sure that startups can benefit and startups can navigate the quality regulatory ecosystem. We also, because of these meetings, we also now startups required help in clinical trials. So we are in the process of facilitating that as well. We have partnerships with Aster Hospitals, St. John's, also Makiran Majumdar Shaw Center, and we constantly look to collaborate. So one of the messages I also want to share with the audience here, specifically the leaders of the TBI, is we want to work with you and build a winning ecosystem for all of India. And I will not spend too much time on this, just to give you a flavor of what happens. I don't know whether people saw Shark Tank. This is Janitri just came up there. There was a war to say who is going to bid for Janitri. Laurus is a publicly traded company that came out of our ecosystem. And there are other companies here. You may be aware of these as we go forward. And, this is what I want to leave you with. We have a science park. We have various aspects that we can help companies, smart entrepreneurs, or people with smart ideas who can be made entrepreneurs, right? And this is a picture of IKP Eden in Bangalore. That's what I had. Thank you. We'll be happy to take any questions if anybody has.
Thank you, Dr. Sridhar.
Thank you. Apurva, would you want to request everybody to turn their cameras on if they are in suitable position, so we can also take a screenshot of this part of our thing? Is that possible?
Sure. May I request Mr. Patabi also and the participants here in the meeting, can you please switch on the video to take a quick snapshot?
Sure.
We just give 1 minute for all to switch on.
So while the videos are coming up, I will start so that we can save time.
Yes, requesting Dr. Vishu to please start on the BIG program, introducing.
And as the CEO mentioned that you have a new incubator coming up with the food and nutrition related, I would just like to mention that IKP is a Sparsh center, which Sridhar mentioned, and the focus areas are food and nutrition, where the graduate students are mentored for 18 months, and there is a small 5 lakh grant and a 50,000 per month. So your new incubators and your students and are the early stage, like somebody at a TRL 1-2 kind of people can apply for this, and there is no company formation required. The only requirement is a graduation, and it's a full-time program at IKP. Actually, we wanted this program to be a physical program, but because of time, with that first one, we will have the virtual one. I think only those many videos will come, Apurva. I will continue the presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. And you can leave the videos on if you are comfortable with the bandwidth.
Go ahead, Visu.
Yep. First of all, thanks to SASTRA team, for inviting IKP Knowledge Park, and we have been interacting with some of your students at various capacities, and this is the first time interaction regarding the BSc program. This will be a very informal program, so please, and a closed program. So don't hesitate or wait for the presentation. You can always raise your hand or switch on your audio and speak. Since we are a group of, we actually made it small focused meeting so that everybody can talk. So this is the Sparsh program I was referring to, and these slides will be available in a link which Apurva will share. Not only for BASE, any program you are looking, you can refer to the IKP resource material. You can prepare your program application. So this is what I mentioned, like if the new incubatees are pre-incubatees, this will be an excellent program. We have
Visu, I think we are losing your audio.
okay. Can you hear now?
Yeah, we can hear it now. Maybe we can just turn off video so that your bandwidth can be managed better.
Okay. Can you hear now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, fine. I will continue. So this is the program where it will be very helpful for the new incubator focused on the food and nutrition. So this is the small overview about the BASE program. BASE program supports idea to POC, early stage proposals. Apurva, would you please mute participants? Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this program, the students and researchers who are doing the projects and find something interesting and they have initial supporting data and would like to take it to the next level, this is the suitable. And if you already have a company, it should be less than 5 years old, and we'll be happy to discuss more on these things. Just to summarize the IKP BASE program. So we have interacted with over 1750 students, startups, researchers, and 172 have received until BASE 20, and there are BASE 21 interviews just completed, and presently the BASE 22 is open until February 15th. And some of these companies are doing exceptionally well, and we'll be very happy to welcome you on board as our future BASE incubatees. You will continue to stay in your incubator, and IKP will be mentoring you. And the call closes by February 15th, and there will be an online selection followed by a physical interview or a virtual interview, and then the results will be there maybe by June or so. This is just a overview about the process. And you might be seeing the BASE application. It appears very complicated, but it is evaluated on these 5 parameters. I would request you to look from this angle, and when the reviewer is looking at your application, they will be scoring for unmet need, value proposition, technical viability, team, and business perspective. So many a times, we just write, my professor will be part of the team, but there is a considerable weightage is there for this, and how you present just that portion also is very important. So in the one-on-one discussion or the following discussion, we will be discussing more about these things. And I just put these points, 10 points that are important for the BASE application or any of the innovation related applications. So I will not be going through this now, but we'll be very happy to discuss in case if you request a suggestion. I wanted to, highlight one of the student project actually. So they were doing an MTech project where they have seen a particular fraction of cucumber extracts attracts a lot of insects. So they wanted to see if there is any government support available, and that is when from Bangalore, they were, I think, 80 kilometers from Bangalore, Dodbalapur. So we were very happy to visit them, in their place, and it was very nice to see that they were able to reproduce their MTech project results in their small lab, and they were able to come up with some data. So this is the very important. Although the BASE doesn't need data, if you have done some experiments, it can be preliminary. I'm just presenting an agree example, but it can be any field. If you have done in your project or they are in the literature that support, because technical feasibility, as you have seen, is a quite quite a weightage is there for this. So it's very important to present. This will cover two aspects. One is your preliminary data, technical feasibility, and your IP strategy. So using your data, you don't need to file for an IP immediately before the BASE project. It's good if you have, but they would like to see what you are thinking. And as Dr. Sridhar mentioned, we have IKP Prime Technology Transfer Office. Our team will be very happy to discuss with you and how your preliminary data can be presented in a form that the reviewers will understand, and you also will start appreciating. And it took 3 meetings with the students team, and they were very happy, and they have an IP. They are one of the 5 best startups in India. They went to Brazil. They have received best startup award in 2 categories in the startup awards at the last week. So these students were able to use the existing resources, and in the BASE, the initial quick pre-art search and additional support is free. You don't have to pay. So please feel free to discuss with your incubator, and we'll be very happy to connect with your team through your TBI. So you will continue to working in the same TBI, but IKP team will help you until you take it to the next level. So don't hesitate. Just reach us. I want to present 2 examples of this 172, because these came in the newspaper, and if you remember GPS Renewables, in the last quarter, Prime Minister opened Asia's biggest CNG plant. They are a BASE awardee from IKP. They have received excellent funding, and they are in 7 countries, and they are actually part of the government policies for bioethanol related. So this is the kind of impact the BASE teams are doing. Again, most of you would be familiar, but still I want to mention the DOSI team. So they started in 2015. In the BASE project, they wanted to see how they can devise a contactless sleep monitoring device. And during COVID time, they were able to pivot, and they raised nearly 140 crores, and they have more than 200 employees across India. Most importantly, in a very economical way, they were able to help the government hospitals in monitoring the patients. Yeah, so with this, I will stop my presentation, and you please email us and CC your incubator. We would like to work with the incubator, and we can have scheduled sessions where we can discuss, because the incubator will know much more about you. And I just want to bring an example of a faculty member from VIT developing the bioethanol. So the incubator actually came back and said that they would like other faculty members to be part of it, and I am sure at SASTRA we will have such connections from the incubator. So please CC your incubator always, and we'll be happy to take the discussion forward. Thank you. With this, we will open for discussion, and I would like to request Sridhar, Vaibhav to switch on the camera if it is fine. And participants, please feel free to just unmute yourself and ask. This will be a very informal. And I would request Vaibhav to give a 2-minute summary about his BIZ and how he is doing, so that applicants can understand, because he waited for the last day to submit the application at 5:29, and the website was not working, and he has to wait for 6 months. And over to Vaibhav.
That's a very good point to start with. And yeah, means I always tell people that don't waste till the last moment. Don't wait till the last moment. It's actually waste of time, and we have to wait for 6 months then to get the. So it's big actually comes every 6 months, and the first application we lost like this. And that point of time I was in Spain, and we also have some confusion with the time. That's the point I started hating this daylight saving zone, because there is this 1 hour gap, and I have to calculate accordingly what is the time in India. So, but the bottom line is, don't wait till the last moment. We started as a team who wanted to develop a thermostable insulin, and this is a 100-year-old drug which is still not able to reach majority of the areas on the globe. And one of the problems is because it's a protein based drug and it requires refrigeration. And we developed a formulation that could be stored at very high temperatures and still maintain its activity. This is how we started working on it. And we had some bootstrapping where we used help from different universities around to get some data to confirm what we are saying to some extent. And when we reached out to different areas, and this is one thing where people, early stage people get demotivated, we reached out to Eli Lilly in Spain and we said to them that, oh, we can make an insulin which could be refrigeration independent. And they're like, what do you mean by that? It's like, you can transport it without refrigerator. He said, but we have refrigerator everywhere. Why do you want to transport it without refrigerator? Because you are meeting middle level management who don't understand the global problems, and this happens. And when I came to India, I talked to different people around GSK, Bharat Biotech, and they were like, really, can we have something like this which could be transported without refrigeration? Can you build something like this for us? So it's not only about what you develop, it's about where it has its impact, so that market also has to be one. And that gave us confidence that yes, it is something useful for somebody. And later we started working on other molecules as well. We are still developing. It's a long development cycle for biopharmaceuticals. I'm very happy. A lot of tech people, like you just mentioned, Dozy and all, you have a cycle of around 3 to 4 years for taking the product to the market. In case of pharma, it's generally around 8 to 10 years normally. Yes, there are ways to shorten it. Now it depends on the disease. There are many regulatory things, and thanks to IKP again, they are starting next coming days about this regulatory part, which is an important part of your pharma develop for us for pharma development. And what we have done in the last year and a half after we got Bioreg Big, after being rejected twice, what we have done is we have understood our business model better. So yes, Bioreg Big has been very helpful in the terms of money after being accepted, but the rejections were also very useful for us. Okay, and I think the more than money, those rejections and those comments that came during the process of applying, they really converted. This is my second company, this is not my, so even then I learned a lot, that how to convert a scientific idea into a business. A technical feasibility is one thing, yes, it's very important, you have to test it. On the other hand, the capability of its commercialization will be questioned at every step. And I tell you, Birec Big and other similar grants are the least what is it, inhibitions. You will have bigger inhibitions when you go to market. So what they are doing is they are preparing you for the tough time to come before you invest your 2-3 years, and you are like, "Arey yaar, I would have spent these 3 years and got something else, but I spend it here and there is no market for my product, or I did not think it through. I could have made this small change." So those things come up, and that's why we converted from an insulin company to a platform company today. So now we are developing a drug in case for macular degeneration. It's exclusive license we have. We are developing a drug for cancer, which is developed in-house. The reason being, Biotech big rejections, I would say. Yes, we were accepted for the insulin again, but the rejections made us realize that it's better for us to be a platform company. And that changed the whole business model, how we approach the problem, how we do. So thanks again. And I would encourage everybody to apply. If you get it, you will get 50 lakhs. If you don't get it, you will get 5 crores worth of, comments from everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaibhav. So we would now, as Visu had suggested, we'll open the floor for questioning. I think Purva has also mentioned the email, teambig@IKP Knowledge Park. It would be good to, if you have any questions, feel free to write to the team. And again, our experiences in this area have been diverse. Apurva, for example, has been helping BIG grants for the last, in IKP, beyond IKP, literally for the last 6 years. Visu has been living the BIG dream again for quite some time. We have been advising people on what works, what does not work. I've been myself on big review panels, etc. So we try to help you, and that's part of what will be good. Now, Mr. Pattabhiraman, how would you like, are there people who would like to ask questions? If that is the case, they can message in the chat if they are shy to turn on the camera and talk. Again, language-wise, feel free to talk. We cover Telugu, Hindi, Tamil, English, Swalpa Kannada also. So anything that you are comfortable with, because language should not be the barrier for conversations.
Sure. Agree. But as you say, I am handing over the session to real applicants of Big 27 call and the future. So first of all, I'd like Dr. Ramya Vijay to start the question, our session, right? Ramya Vijay, ma'am.
Hello, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning and happy New Year to everyone. Let this New Year brings a great success for every one of us. Actually, I'm working at Shastra University. In parallel with, actually, we are running a startup named RKN Designs and Solutions. And recently, actually, we are about to complete a Nidhi Prayasi grant and a solution. And we have come up with some POC, and at the same time, we actually tested at the field also. So at this stage, actually, we wanted to make this into a product as well. It has to be actually putting into the market. That is the way actually we are trying to coming out of it. So at this stage, in what way actually I can utilize this big grant support or the support from your mentorship, and how actually I supposed to proceed further for applying for this kind of grants at this stage. So as I mentioned, we are a startup and we are working on agri-tech product, and this product almost comes to the end of proof of concepts has been ready, and a preliminary prototype with the feedback of the our persona, actually we have made it, and it's a test, field test, we have done it. So that's the stage actually we are now. And could you suggest me that and how actually I can utilize this big grant, and will it be actually a good time to take this concept on this February call itself? And could you clarify and suggest me some approach?
Visu?
I think his screen is frozen.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can answer. Very much you can apply, ma'am. Actually, you mentioned that the product is at a field trial stage. But if you look from a product point of view, the product profile completion, so you will need a lot of validation, third parties, regulatory bodies. So, what I would request is please send an email, following this one, and we will fix a, maybe a 15-minute meeting where we can look at the gaps. When we are developing something in the lab and we see the result, we think it's complete. But, when you take it to the market, dealers will ask, about third-party validations, about toxicity. I am not sure. Okay, thank you. So I don't want you to discuss the details if you are not comfortable, but we'll be very happy to discuss with you one-on-one and suggest the gaps and where you can utilize. So in the BIG program, they would look at how you will utilize these 50 lakh rupees in 18 months time to take it to the next level. So you can use for validations, you can use for regulatory fulfillment of regulatory requirements. Field trials can be very much part of the one of the objectives. You have to keep in mind about the crop cycle, whether it is Kharif, Rabi, and we will discuss in more detail. But if you want, you can ask further questions if it's not clear. Ma'am, you are on mute, ma'am.
Sorry. Can you just share your mail ID to which actually I can looking forward for the one-to-one meeting?
Yes, Apurva has just mentioned. You can also reach Patabi sir, and he'll be happy to connect.
Fine, then fine. Yeah, thanks
Very
a lot.
simple.
Then.
It's team BIG, team big at ikpknowledgepark.com.
Team. Okay, sir. Fine. Thank you. Noted.
Thank you.
I think Dr. Jayaprada, ma'am.
So good morning, everyone.
Welcome, sir. Jayaprakash, sir, please.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you, sir. Sir, myself, Jayaprakash. So we are working on developing nanostructured materials for detecting hazardous and toxic gases and vapors related to healthcare as well as environmental monitoring. Just I have a couple of questions. One, you are meaning a fund will be provided for product based. Say, for example, I'm developing a material, okay, which has a capability to detect some gases or vapors in the environment or for some clinical diagnosis through exhaled breath. In that case, I'm a right person to apply this big grant, developing a sensing materials.
So I would take a shot at this. I think you are, because the idea of the BIG grant is to develop prototype from a concept, right? Okay. So as you know, in any grant proposals that you write or any of these things, the more data you have, the better chances that you would have. Okay. So our recommendation is, because this is a third party who will be reviewing and taking it forward. So, at this stage, our recommendation would be you should apply because you would be able to, it's a very useful time for you, as Vaibhav correctly pointed out, for you to articulate your thoughts. Okay. At the end of the day, you are looking at a commercialization of this idea, right? So you have an idea, you want to put it into a product format. Maybe you will not do the product, you will give the IP to somebody to do the product, whichever way it is. But you will want to get it to a demonstrable stage that others can then, you can take it or others can take it. Okay. But as I said, the upside is you get the money. The downside is actually an upside as well, because you will get feedback, which says, this is great idea, sir, but I think you need to look at points A, B, C, D, which will help you define it for the next round. So our suggestion to you is, please articulate this. Please put it in that format, because BIRAC format is very useful because it is all towards productization and commercialization. So I think you will have a great advantage there.
Okay. So because two of our material, which we filed Indian patent, has also been granted. So
excellent. And I think those are all wonderful steps towards saying that, hey, there is uniqueness here. Okay. Because BIG looks for IP generation, all of those things. So I think you already have a good story, but as you know, in any of these cases, there are a lot of good ideas that come in and they can only fund so much. So whichever way the process, I think you should try it. You should see where you are. It'll allow you to improve. It'll allow you to have better conversations with your teams and others. Okay.
Thank you. And also there are a few examples where such materials were supported. So you can apply and they'll be very happy to look.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Dr. Suganti is asking, they are working on materials for clean energy. Okay. Yes, clean energy is also a part, though the name is Biotechnology Ignition Grant, this includes life science, agriculture, environment, clean energy, waste management. And we have some amazing startups like, Renkube, Loopworm. So you can apply and we'll be happy to connect with, the people who received, because they can share the experience and they have been through various funding programs as well. BIG is, today we are discussing about BIG program, but our aim is to make sure that, you go to the next level with whatever support is available from the, various agencies, national, international programs.
Thank you.
Yes, please, Dr. Kia, please go ahead. You just have to unmute yourself and ask.
So actually, my idea is a bit of a concept actually. So I have some idea in my mind, and I found that the idea has not been done anywhere, and I am aiming for a secondary metabolite from a plant. So there is a secondary metabolite already available in the market actually. So it is in the commercial way of production. So my aim is to enhance the production with a low cost input. So will it be, will I be able to apply for a big grant with that sort of an idea?
Technically, yes. With a concept in hand, you can apply, and you
Okay.
have to, so when a concept is presented, they would look at the literature, and you have to support your concept with existing literature. Let's say a particular metabolite is being produced at a 3 milligram per liter. I'm just taking an example. Don't hold
Sure.
me. But if you can produce the same, at a 9 mg per liter, so you're already, having a double and double the efficiency of the existing process. There may be an IP possible, and we would also be happy to connect with our IKP Prime team for a quick pre-research search. The time is short now, but as Vaibhav suggested, you must apply now, and through Patabi sir, we will connect with you, and we will be happy to provide what are the feasibilities and possibilities of an IP on the said concept you are mentioning. And certainly there will be some data required when you are going for filing, but it is good to know the IP landscape. What are the kind of patents are already there.
So so for your information, I have been searching for patents also. There is no such thing, the medium which I'm using to increase the productivity, right? So they have not, there was no report on that actually. So which makes me think that, okay, I'll be having an, impact in improving the quality of that product. So
Dr. KR, it's good that you have convinced yourself. Now, we have to see how we can convince the reviewers.
Yes, sure. I made myself.
Again, I would request whoever is asking and want to have a further session or any particular, some things we can't discuss in open forum, which is perfectly fine.
Okay.
Please send an email, CCing Patabi sir and team BAZ. We will see how quickly we can arrange. You should apply for this call, and then those things can go parallelly. We have, postdocs, PhD students talking with us from 2019. They wanted to come back to India. So they start talking with us, and we already have 15 to 20 people who are shortlisted. So don't wait, and it is not a single, as Vaibhav mentioned, it's always comes January, July. So if you think that you will make everything ready and then go, it doesn't work that way. So whatever you have, once you start filling the application, you will see the gaps as well. You are convinced now. For convincing the the reviewers, we have 6-7 parameters which I mentioned. We can start working on those things, and your incubator can also throw some light where they can also add value.
Sure. Okay, then I'll mail you then regarding so that we can have an an individual chat so that I can make myself a bit more clear about my idea.
Sure.
Team big@ikpknowledgepark.com.
Okay, sure. I have noted. Thank you.
Dr. Charita?
Hi. Sir, actually, if the product is what is more important, to have the publication in place or to have commercialization in mind, or like you said,
commercialization in mind? Sridhar mentioned this project looks at how you can take the project to the market. So having a publication helps because it shows that you have the particular skill set, you have the research experience. Having publication also helpful, but in this particular case, more than publication or patent, if there is a clear gap you are addressing and there is a market need, that weighs much more than both the publication and the patent.
Thank you.
And sorry that you have posted some question. I didn't read that one, but I would maybe I will request Apurva to connect with you and see that if there are any gaps to address for the application.
Sure, sir.
Can I request Dr. KR to put his hand down? Because I think it pops up there. Thank you so much. I think Dr. Selvaraj Stalin.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Morning.
Myself, Dr. Stalin from Sastra. So our team is working on developing nutritional supplements with our own formulation. It is a nutritional supplement for targeting diabetic patients. We successfully developed our formulation, as well as we tested their nutritional values, and then so already we filed a patent. So is it possible to apply in the big grant? Because yesterday we discussed with our colleagues, and where we put the food biotechnology stream in the big what is that scheme, because we are willing to apply to the big scheme to extrapolate our research and as well as to move our compound or our formulation into the market.
Nutritional supplements usually come under two categories.
Okay.
Depending on the process you are doing, either it is agriculture and allied areas or industrial biotechnology. If there is a a more weightage for the fermentation process or using the recombinant microbes. So if you need any further things, you can share the data with us. And as a BSc partner, IKP signed MOU with BIRAC, and all your data will be confidential. Even when we are asking for further data for quick PR sets, this will be under confidentiality, so you can share. And if you need one-on-one discussions with sharing more IP, and we'll be happy to sign a specific NDA in case if you think that you want to disclose more details for a better input from us.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. Because yesterday we have a discussion, then we stuck in that area. So where we put, because it's not using any recombinant product for making our formulation. So it's a very simple process, but we are getting very nice result. So we want to take that product into the market.
So then it will be agriculture and allied areas.
Okay. Then I will share you along with the after discussion with the Pattabhiraman sir. Then we will let you know, sir, further.
Please, sir. Please, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And interns from your team can apply for the IKP Sparsh program as well. And like that, actually from the BSc teams, we received very good applications. So students who came to the companies actually applied for the program, and they're doing very well.
Okay. Thank you.
Next question from whom? We are eagerly waiting.
Dr. Stalin, you can remove the hand. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I am Balakumar from Agurai. Can I ask my question?
Please.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So we are a vision-based quality inspection company based in Trichinopalli. So if you look at our solution, right, we help manufacturers in automating their quality inspection process. Traditionally, if you see, right, the inspection, right, any quality inspection is a manual and vision-based. So our solution, right, it consists of an optic system, image capturing system. So whenever you manufacture any product and goes in the line, so we install the optic system, it captures the images, and then we have the AI algorithms, right, that run on these images and then detect whether the component is actually good or defective. So we are already working with FMCG companies and then auto companies in this space, but we are also seeing a lot of traction from the pharmaceutical companies. Recently, we have some inquiry from Cipla, primarily on the visual, the vial inspection, right, where they want to detect the bottle fill marks, any defects in the bottle, any contamination in the vial, air bubbles, so on and so forth. So we are also exploring, specifically the vial inspection solution. So just wanted to see if there is, any engagement opportunity for us in this space, right? Be it grant or kind of any, mentorship or so on and so forth.
Sridhar, you want to go?
Sure. I think so. It depends. Can I call you Balakumar?
Balakumar, yeah.
So Balakumar, I think it is great, but as you can probably understand, this is also oriented towards life science products. So in what product areas are you applying your technology, sir?
So this will be in the pharmaceutical companies in their vial inspection, right? So whenever they manufacture the vials, right, it is a high-speed manufacturing line.
I understand.
So they do, yeah. What
would be good for you to look at in the application, right? So I will split it up. Can you apply? Of course you can apply, right? But I think it is also, you have to be the judge of this. Is there any uniqueness? Because as I understand, there are other technologies already available. If you're able to articulate your uniqueness, right, which should not just be cost to this solution, then, and there is an IP creation opportunity that is there, then your chances of getting a funding or a grant is higher, right?
Okay.
Having said that, you should also explore the other options that companies like IKP, other offer, which are maybe your technology, since you are revenue earning and you are doing this, maybe it's you can also look at investments that will allow you to, seed investment or something like that, where it's an equity-based investment, because you have matured your technology a little bit more for you to get the necessary capital for you to move further, right? So short answer to your question, can you apply? Yes, you can apply. But you must justify the uniqueness of your technology, because the screening is available. And I'm just saying, don't bake it only on cost. However, if your business is a going concern and you have revenue, etc., and you're looking at it, you should talk to folks like IKP as well as others for seed funding or a different type of funding. That's what we would suggest use.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
And Sridhar, I just want to add a point. As Sridhar mentioned, if you can bring the use case, let's say you mentioned about pharma. So if you can highlight the novelty in the use case and justify why you need 50 lakhs to make it into a platform or a product that can be used by these companies in the life science, certainly you can apply here. Of course, since you already have an established relation and serving the FMCG market, you can go for the seed fund and leap fund kind of things, where you will be looked at at a higher level, and I'm sure that will be a positive thing. You can apply for this, asking for the more specific things. What are the kind of things you want to standardize? If everything is available and this is just more of a business risk, then BIG will not be seeing it in a very positively. But if you can bring the use case more specific to pharma and life science and what you want to develop, this will be a perfect thing. I think you should apply for both BIG and also the other funding opportunities.
Sure, sir. Got it. Yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Satya, please go.
Yeah. So hello team, I'm Satya, a student entrepreneur from Sastra University. So we are working on early diagnosis of Parkinson's using gait analysis and AI actually. So I have a small question here. So could I apply for big grant for developing multiple prototypes of the same product actually?
Yeah, you have to justify why you want to develop multiple prototypes, and when you are developing a product, there will be iterations, and this is actually inbuilt in most of the project development. So you don't need to specifically highlight that you want to develop multiple prototypes. Or you mean to say you want to bring it different kinds of products, and for 3 products you want to develop 3 prototypes?
No. For the same product, we can go for 3 types of designs. That's
yes,
the way I'm putting it.
very much.
Thank you.
Jayaprada had a question. Dr. Jayaprada, please go ahead.
Ma'am?
We are able to hear you, Dr. Jayaprada. I don't see your mic option, so I don't know whether you're connected on
Ma'am, we
audio.
can't hear you. Maybe you can type in the chat box. Maybe we will request Patabi sir to connect us with Dr. Jayaprada.
Sure. Yeah, from the right from the beginning, she is struggling to get in line. Maybe some fault in her office. No,
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
Please welcome, ma'am. Yeah, now she's on. Ma'am,
Okay,
welcome,
sir.
ma'am.
Yeah. Sir, actually, we have a patented antifungal compound, right, sir? Which the preclinical trials has been done. The efficacy, everything is now successfully established.
But what I want to look it further in before commercialization, like different formulation, like IV formulations, also the nasal formulation of that. So will I be getting funding for the research aspect as of now? Because before moving to the commercial part, I should be more confident which of the formulation will be suitable for that fungal infection. Will I be eligible to apply for?
Yes, ma'am. So there, in the application, what we will be asking is not like for research. So in the objectives, if you can frame the sentences in such a way that these are the particular 3 things I would like to do before taking this product into the market. Certainly, yes. And it's very good that you already have some preclinical data available with you.
Okay.
So what you will be doing with, again, I mean, I just repeat, what you will be doing with these 50 lakhs and that helps you to take the product to the next level is what we need to justify there.
Sure, sir.
And again, I will request you to send an email, in case if you want a very specific update, because Dr. Sridhar has experience in the regulatory space, and our team can actually very quickly look, Dr. Ambuj, Ranajit sir. So they have worked in the various fields, and we would love to look more closely before suggesting them.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So team BIG at ikpknowledgepark.com.
Okay, sir.
May I add something here? I think that is relevant for both Dr. Jayaprada and the previous Satyanarayan. And they both have this, and this happens when you have a platform kind of thing, and when you want to decide one of the lines, which one you're following, and when you're going to big, my advice there is, you have to have a prediction for what is gonna possibly work, and you can ask big to test that hypothesis. You say, this is my beachhead market, okay? With this kind of platform, with strong data that I have, I think this is the best bet I have. And during my big grant, I'm gonna test this. Okay, there are 2 possibilities. Either you will succeed or fail. The good thing about big is it will entertain that even if you have a small chances of success, but what they need to know is if you succeed, what would be the outcome of that? And you have thought it through. So I know with Satyanarayan, for example, with your thing, you can develop many, but go through the market analysis, go do a little bit of research there and see which one you can say, I'll do this one first. You're not saying I cannot do 3, but you say this is the one thing I'll do first. In case of Dr. Jayaprada, yes, I would say you can apply with a story where you say, look, this is the thing, but I want to test 2 formulations. I want to figure out which one will work the best, for example. So both could be, and the idea has to be to take it when Vishu says next level means taking it closer to commercialization. And you can prove that by some initial interactions with some pharma companies. I think IKP can put you in touch with that. And you can also get a kind of a prior art search done by IKP Prime. So you say, look, this is what is there already. And this is the extra added advantage I want to put there, on the patent. And this is where gonna be the one. So this is what I'm testing now. So either it's closing to the market or in an intellectual property, whichever way, but you have to show that one extra step that you're going to take it in one direction. That's the better way to do it.
Thanks, man. Is there any questions from the participants? Please. If you have any questions, please participants, if you have any other questions, you can raise your hands so that they are in a position to address.
Sir, what I would suggest is, since we have completed the time, who want to apply, maybe 1 or 2 teams can stay back. We can finalize the discussion so that they can proceed.
Yes, sir, sure. Why not?
And others may continue. Over to you, sir.
I think you can have the question and all some other time, sir. Right, sir? Can specifically address the questions if at all any participant raise of the screen.
Sure, sir. So what I would like to conclude this session with that
Yeah.
IKP along with Sastra can help the applicants in providing 360-degree supports even for BIG and beyond that. So would request applicants to work with you and IKP for the applications for this call and even for the further calls.
Yeah, sure.
And whoever has a question, we can be in touch with the you, Mr. Patabi Raman, so that
Yeah.
we can do one-on-one session if nobody is there available for now for the question and answer.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. On behalf of Sastra Teams, we really thank the entire IKP team for sharing their valuable time with us and sharing the critical information on this, ma'am. I'm really happy. My special thanks to you, Apurva, ma'am. In fact, Teresa is not come.
Thank you so much. But I think Dr. Sridhar, Dr. Vishu, and Vaibhav has been really, and you for coordinating all this and answering all the questions, but we'll be there for the future as well. So we would like to continue the help and support from you in terms of the applications and getting them to the success most
Sure, ma'am.
possible.
Sure, ma'am. And again, Mr. Vaibhav, my personal wishes for a very happy birthday. In fact, I thank all the participants for making this session very highly interactive. And the participants such as you makes us very happy about our initiatives and strengthen our results, commitment, and more so our genuine belief in transformations. With this, we can conclude our session.
Great. Thank you. Any questions? Again, team BIG at ikpknowledgepark.com. And Vaibhav, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're an entrepreneur. You have stuff to do. So really do appreciate your time for stepping out and answering questions. So really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, we will